For the first time in what seems like forever, we're back in Jasper City Hall with Terry Seitz.
Bradford, I almost missed you.
You almost did.
Yeah, don't get worried that I didn't miss you that much. But I kept thinking a couple, 3 weeks ago, it's my turn. Then was a fifth Monday, and I don't know what you do in the fifth Monday. And then here was a holiday. It's like, it's good to be with you.
Well, there we go. I'm glad you feel that way. A lot going on in Jasper, as usual. We'll start with, obviously, the big theme being the library, and then we'll go from there.
We can. As the time of this airing, or very close to it, the library board has indicated they would make a decision on what direction they would go as to a new proposed library site. That is either a revamping of their current location or joining in with the city of Jasper and the arts at the Who's Your Desk site. And that decision is an independent decision. Certainly as a city of Jasper, I will say what I have shared with you before. Whatever that the library board has to do, it is not affiliated with the city. We have one of 7 members that's an appointee, and I have no appointees to that board. I wish them well. I think if they choose the current site or the Who's Your Desk site, we'll have a library pending approval by the referendum next fall, a library that would be befitting of the city, and that will be a fine representation. If it's at the current site, it will be a good library. If it's at the Who's Your Desk site, I think that has the potential to change Jasper forever.
Speaking of changing Jasper forever, we're staying on the theme of industrial properties, and you had a lot there that's going on.
You know, when we did the Jasper Downtown Riverfront Master Plan, the first public meeting we had, which oddly enough was at the Who's Your Desk property in 2013. Seems like a long time ago. It's a very short window of time. I remember City Visions shared that they have taken a survey and estimated 500,000 square feet of former industrial space, either minimally used or unused in downtown Jasper. Most people think of the Jasper Cabinet property by the depot as being the dominant one, but that's not a 500,000 square foot structure. There was a lot more. Since that time, when Jasper Group purchased Jofco in 2013, early 14, they got a manufacturing plant in the south side, but abandoned that plant on Vine Street. And that was another 300,000 square feet. That's 800,000 square feet of factory space. And what we have since then, what has been done through the extraordinary work of a number of people, private investment and real estate development through local realtors and others at Jofco, the pending decision on the Who's Your Desk property, and the most recent announcement of a private developer who has entered into an option to purchase Jasper Cabinet, that is taking hundreds of thousands of square feet of currently unused or little used industrial space in downtown or near downtown Jasper and attaching multi-million-dollar projects to it all. And I find that nothing short of phenomenal.
Let's talk a little bit more about Jasper Cabinet. This one's still somewhat in the dark to people.
That is correct. And that's in the dark is maybe a fair word to say, but ultimately the developer has a representative. That representative is looking to move the project forward, and I know because of a recent decision by our redevelopment commission to have a declaratory resolution on a tax increment finance district just on that property, then that starts the process of which also would kick in the ability of the developer to say, as that stages out, there are 4 different stages, then they would be putting more money into actually concepts and things that would be shared publicly. And that was when they met with us early on and gave indication that this is what they wanted to look at doing. They said if that gets to that stage, then they will be more than capable of presenting more details, especially to the council and back to the redevelopment commission, likely in their October meetings. And of course, then more public details. We have met with a developer a long time ago as one of the people that we helped market to, and as we marketed a lot of these properties, and that's what the master plan gave us. For a $40,000 investment for that master plan, looking at a $13.1 million project at Jofco, maybe more to come at the next council meeting we hear, and the potential of a development at Jasper Cabinet, I couldn't imagine a better investment that we would have made as a city in fulfilling that plan. So we will see where Jasper Cabinet goes, but at this time it's a private developer. I do know that they have not only signed a document, which is an option to buy, they have put money down with that option. And that's a pretty serious developer. And I'm very comfortable with that. And I believe it will be a good asset to Jasper, whatever is developed there. But ultimately, it's in private hands. And we will go through some public process along the way, of course. And we've got a work to do. There's no formal street to that property and things like that. But ultimately, this is good. This is a private developer who has looked at Jasper and said, we'd like to be here, and we have an interest in that building that's sat idle for 15 years. I'm very happy with where it's at right now.
So how do you find these people? Kind of like is it like a channel, or how do you find these people?
Truly, it's really they have found us once that plan was developed, once that plan was posted, once we made some initial contacts, a lot of times through existing businesses here. We've also had, again, real estate developers here who have taken that ball and said, real estate developers may not be the right word, but real estate companies, and said, we may know people who know people, and just the enabling us to have a vision for the downtown riverfront. Enable that vision to be marketed, rather than saying, well, there's an old building, would you like to buy it? And the answer would be, why? What do you see there? What do you see? Well, as a city, we defined. We also went a step further after the master plan and did some schematic drawings for the Hoosier Desk and also for Jasper Cabinet to be able to give some ideas of what could be in there. And those were ultimately used as well. So again, minimum invested. Yes, we did use economic development income tax dollars for these investments in the master plan and the extension of it into drawings. But guess what? There's interest in the Astro, which had drawings. There's interest in Jasper Cabinet, which had these drawings. There's interest in Hoosier Desk, and somebody purchased Jofco and then looked at that and said, we believe we can make that work as well. And that's one of the people we had talked to along the way who really latched on to real estate people and the owners there and said, I'd like to come here. It certainly is not anything that great credit needs to be given into the mayor's office, but certainly staff, to those who believed in what we were doing, to the visionaries in Jasper who said, you know what, we have this problem, which is really these old buildings. Wow, didn't know we had that many hundreds of thousands of square feet. What can we do with them? We really didn't know how to spell the word redevelop, and now we're getting better at it.
And we'll wrap up with something we talked about briefly off camera. This idea, you guys are kind of on the front of a trend. You're seeing this more statewide?
Yes, what we have been told, I may add, and I should add, on the on the Hoosier Desk property that the library and the arts are looking at. Last week, we received official notice from the state that site is eligible for 25% investment by the state. That means through state tax credits, which means an investor can purchase those tax credits and essentially get credits on their taxes for up to $3.4 million. So that project is essentially 25% covered by state support for a private investor investing in it. And we hope that does occur, or at least gives us a chance to fund through the public entities. And the state told us at that time, and we did not realize this, that we made a pitch to the state of Indiana in early 2014 about our properties and said, we need to know how to become better partners with you. Here's what we have to work with. What qualifies, what fits, what grants are available, not money grants, what tax credits are available. And when we left the room, we found out that they said that is the best presentation that they've ever had from any city in Indiana, and they're going to look to make things work in Jasper in any way, shape they can. It's taken a year and a half for things to evolve because it requires private partners in it too, and here we are. So I'm learned to be a very patient man, but to hear that from the state officials last week on a conference call with library officials and arts officials and city officials, I was very, very pleased on behalf of our city because that means we put our best foot forward.
So we'll see where it goes now. Thank you again, Mayor.
Thank you.
That's been our mayor chat for this week. We'll have more after this.